Your car is wasting 40% of every gallon of gas you buy. Not because your engine is damaged, not because your vehicle is outdated, but because the fuel sitting inside your tank right now is burning in a way that is incomplete, inefficient, and deeply wasteful. Every time you pull into a gas station and fill your tank, a large portion of what you pay for never actually turns into movement. It never reaches your wheels. It disappears during combustion, lost as heat, residue, and unburned fuel escaping into the air. That fuel burns unevenly. Some of it ignites too quickly, some too slowly, and some not at all. The result is a chaotic burn cycle that leaves behind carbon deposits on your pistons, inside your cylinders, and across your engine components. The rest exits through your exhaust system as unburned hydrocarbons. That is money you already spent, released into the atmosphere without ever doing its job. You are not just paying for fuel, you are paying for waste. There is a way to change how this happens. A method that alters the behavior of gasoline at a molecular level, a simple addition that restructures the combustion cycle, allowing fuel to burn more completely and more efficiently. It pushes every gallon to deliver more energy, more power, and less waste. It cleans your engine while it runs, reducing buildup and restoring performance gradually over time. And it does all of this for less than $1 per tank. This discovery is not recent. It dates back decades. It was found, tested, and proven under controlled conditions. The results were clear, measurable, and consistent. And then, instead of becoming widely known, it vanished. It was buried so effectively that an entire generation of drivers grew up without ever hearing about it. What you're about to understand changes the way you look at every drop of fuel you buy. It challenges what you assumed was normal. It reveals how much potential has been left unused every time your engine runs. To understand why this matters, go back to 1968. At that time, the global gasoline market was already expanding into a massive industry generating over $3 trillion every single year. Every oil company, every fuel manufacturer, and every engine producer operated under one simple expectation. Fuel consumption must continue to grow. Drivers must keep buying more. Efficiency disrupts that system. A driver getting 40 miles per gallon refuels less often than someone getting 28. A cleaner burning engine requires fewer repairs. Fewer repairs mean fewer parts, fewer service visits, and less ongoing cost. True efficiency does not just save money for drivers, it reduces revenue across entire industries. So when a formula appeared that could make gasoline burn up to 40% more completely, the issue was never whether it worked. The real question was, what would happen if it reached the public? The answer was simple. It would change everything. And so it disappeared. Not officially banned, not publicly rejected, just quietly removed from attention and buried under decades of silence. Meanwhile, drivers continued spending trillions on fuel designed to burn inefficiently. In 1968, at a research facility outside Tulsa, Oklahoma, a petroleum chemist named Dr. Robert Heckel was studying combustion efficiency. He was not working for a major oil company. He was an independent researcher hired by a small aerospace firm that needed cleaner burning fuel for experimental aircraft engines. His objective was straightforward: improve fuel combustion, reduce carbon residue, increase energy output per gallon. For 18 months, he tested more than 200 different compounds. Most showed little to no improvement. Some delivered minor gains of 2 or 3%, but nothing significant enough to justify production. Then everything changed. He identified a combination involving acetone and a proprietary catalyst that produced results far beyond expectations. At first, he assumed it was an error, but repeated tests confirmed the outcome. Fuel treated with this formula showed combustion efficiency improvements between 35 and 42%. Carbon deposits dropped by over 80%. Exhaust emissions of unburned hydrocarbons nearly disappeared. Engines ran smoother, cooler, and generated more power using less fuel. He submitted his findings. The response was not what he expected. The aerospace firm acknowledged the results, but chose not to pursue them because the application extended beyond their project scope. He filed for a patent. The process took 14 months. During that time, major petroleum companies reviewed his work as part of standard evaluation procedures. Legal teams were present. The formula was examined in detail. The patent was ultimately denied due to a technicality involving prior claims. He challenged the decision for 6 years and lost. The formula entered a legal gray area. It was technically public, but practically hidden, buried within records that almost no one would ever search. He retired in 1981. In a later interview, he suggested that his work was never directly stolen. Instead, it was prevented from becoming accessible. He passed away in 1993. With him, public awareness of the discovery faded. To understand why this formula mattered so much, look at how your engine works. A standard gasoline engine follows a 4-stroke cycle: intake, compression, combustion, exhaust. During combustion, a spark ignites the air-fuel mixture, creating an explosion that pushes the piston downward and generates motion. In a perfect scenario, every molecule of fuel would burn completely. All stored energy would be released and converted into mechanical force. Nothing would be wasted. But that is not what happens. In real-world conditions, gasoline burns at only about 60 to 65% efficiency. That means 35 to 40% of the fuel energy is lost, exiting your exhaust system as partially burned or completely unburned hydrocarbons. The reason comes down to molecular behavior. Fuel does not spread evenly within the air mixture. It forms clusters. The center burns effectively, while the outer edges burn poorly or not at all. That uneven distribution leads directly to wasted fuel. The solution is to change how the fuel spreads before ignition. By reducing surface tension, the fuel can disperse more evenly throughout the mixture. When ignition occurs, the flame travels consistently, burning the entire mixture more completely. This results in greater energy extraction, stronger piston movement, and increased power output. At the same time, waste is reduced and fewer residues are left behind. The secondary benefit is cleaner engine operation. Incomplete combustion is the main cause of carbon buildup. When combustion improves, deposits decrease. Engines stay cleaner, oil remains effective longer, components last longer. The most accessible compound capable of producing this effect is acetone. When used in precise amounts, it reduces surface tension and improves fuel atomization. This enhances combustion efficiency in standard engines. The cost is minimal. A container price between $5 and $8 can last for multiple uses. When divided per tank, the cost becomes less than $1. Now consider the financial impact. The average driver uses around 500 gallons of fuel per year. At approximately $3.50 per gallon, that equals $1,750 annually. If up to 40% of that fuel is not being used effectively, the loss ranges between $600 and $700 every year. Over 10 years, that becomes $6,000 to $7,000. Over 40 years, it exceeds $25,000 per driver. Across millions of drivers, the scale reaches into trillions. Additional costs come from engine maintenance caused by carbon buildup. Cleaning services range from $300 to $600. Injector cleaning costs $150 to $250. Replacing a catalytic converter costs between $1,000 and $2,500 to $200. All of this is connected to incomplete combustion. Meanwhile, high-performance industries already apply similar principles. Racing teams optimize fuel combustion for maximum efficiency. Aviation systems demand cleaner burns. Large fleet operations use additives to reduce fuel costs at scale. The knowledge exists, the methods exist, but for everyday drivers, it remained hidden. Using this method requires accuracy. The correct ratio is essential. The recommended amount is 2 ounces per 10 gallons of fuel. This equals roughly 1 small measured portion per tank. The process is simple. Add the measured amount before fueling. Fill the tank immediately to allow proper mixing. Drive normally. No changes in behavior are required. Results begin gradually. Smoother operation. Improved throttle response. Better fuel efficiency. Over time, reduced carbon buildup. Consistency is key. Repeating the process with each fill allows the cleaning effect to build. Older vehicles require caution. Some older fuel systems may be sensitive. Starting with a lower concentration and observing performance is recommended. This is not about dramatic claims. It is about understanding how fuel behaves and how small changes influence performance. Decades ago, it was proven that gasoline could burn more efficiently. That has not changed. The chemistry is the same. The physics is the same. What has changed is that you now know 2 ounces per 10 gallons, less than $1 per tank. That is the difference between the efficiency you have been getting and the efficiency that was always possible. 56 years of buried knowledge. One moment to uncover it. One small step to apply it. Now the choice is yours.